Welcome back to the Brotherhood of Gaming video game review show, the only video game review show that can tell you whether or not the Tree of Might is canon.
It's not.
No, it's not. I'm your host, William Morris.
And I'm Eugene Morris.
Now before we start, one important detail needs to be addressed.
Well, knock it off.
I'm just having fun. But, okay, let's be serious. In the long run, what can really be said about Dragon Ball Z that hasn't been said a million times over? It is one of the most successful and popular and most influential animes of all time.
And you know, Dragon Ball was pretty good too.
Indeed it was.
The DBZ series has reached fans all over the world, and it's touched the hearts of millions. Many of us from the older generation fell in love with the series during the 90s, but even today, it's gathering new fans.
You know, you're really right, because I remember way back in the day having to quickly rush home from school just to catch it on Toonami.
Wait, I thought the show you wanted to watch the most was Sailor Moon.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's only because she was technically the first show in the lineup on Toonami. Dragon Ball Z didn't come in until like 2 shows later. But I digress. You see, Dragon Ball Z has made so much money over different kinds of mediums, whether it was toys, a movie, hell, even McDonald's Happy Meals.
Here for Dragon Ball Z?
Cool, huh?
Really?
Yeah, the show was everywhere.
What was I during all this?
Oh.
And of course, there's the world of video games. Now, there's more Dragon Ball Z video games than we can shake a stick at, ranging from the arcade to the Super Nintendo, the GameCube, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 1, 2, Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, the Kinect, PlayStation 3.
I'm out of fingers. Stop.
And that brings us to the newest game in the series, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, which attempts to make a brand new spin on the Dragon Ball Z video game franchise.
What exactly does this new one offer that the old ones don't? And better yet, how well does it play out? Well, no better time to find out but now. This is Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. Now the first thing that had to be mentioned was the presentation intro was very strong, with probably the best rendition of the Cha-La theme we've ever heard. Every time we hear this music, we just want to kick everyone's ass. Hell yeah! The opening cinematics look promising enough to the point where nothing looks wrong. Even the trailers for this game built it up to the highest degree. We were really excited for this game, with a third-person perspective, flying in an open playing field with friends and foes, having at it with awesome battle royale with key characters and awesome combos.
As far as startups go, not gonna lie, this is how you hype a game up. And for Namco, this is kind of a rarity, so it's cool to see this effort. And it also does well because it's riding the coattails of the newest movie. Considering whoever the hell this guy is taking the center stage. Bills?
Lord Beerus?
Whatever.
All in all, this is how you build up a game.
Here is the part where we stop being nice. Now when it comes to the story, well, how can we put this? It's there, kind of. Basically, you get taken through the highlights of the Dragon Ball Z saga without any in-depth storytelling like you would get from the Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm series. Now, there are plenty of Dragon Ball Z games that give the in-depth details of the Dragon Ball Z storyline. However, you are going through the key points only with friends. You fight Frieza on Burning Namek with friends.
You fight the Ginyu Force with friends.
You face the androids with friends.
Sometimes you even see things on the other side, such as fighting the Z Warriors as the villains. If you are familiar with Dragon Ball Z, then you know the story. This game just takes the story and puts a multiplayer twist on it. Basically, you drop this guy's pudding,
Lord Beerus?
Whatever. And he says,
Fuck everything!
take that as you will. So you get to the main menu, which features multiple playing options, single player and multiplayer modes. To our surprise, we were caught off guard by the lack of local multiplayer, and considering Battle of Z is multiplayer focused, this was a bit of a shock. So if you wanted to play with a buddy next to you or a family sibling, well, you're shit out of luck. The game is strictly online multiplayer, period, unless you plan to go single player. In this mode, you are given a mission layout which loosely tells the stories of Dragon Ball Z in canonical order, as well as some WTF scenarios. The more you complete, the more you unlock. And if you have trouble doing so, you can go online and play some of the harder levels with other players to get through them with less of a struggle.
Each level basically boils down to defeating a certain enemy or foes with certain conditions. After completing said missions, the characters you play as and have on your team gain experience points, which of course level up attributes to further their use in combat. You also obtain tons of DBZ cards. While selecting your characters, you can go into their statistics and equip these cards to increase their powers, such as physical strength and the like. Some of these cards can also determine some of the bonuses you obtain. You can only equip these ones you find to a single player, which means it's a possibility that you may be level grinding the same missions over and over so you can get more cards to spread across the character's roster. Speaking of which, the further you travel in the game, you will unlock more playable characters. Each of them contain their own unique powers.
One thing to keep in mind is that some of the characters are good at different things, like support classes, Ki Blast focus types, or just physical strength brawlers. Support characters like Gohan can use healing abilities to aid your team, and Ki Blast users can keep the enemy at a distance. While all of this sounds really vast, unfortunately it's really not. Once you actually start playing the game, you begin to see just how limited and simple it all really is. While in battle, you have only one major attack button, which is the Y or triangle button. So if you were hoping this game would be combo based or require any sort of level of skill to master, you would be dead wrong. The square or X button have you fly upward, and cross and A buttons have you fly down. Circle and B fires a small Ki Blast, and the trigger buttons have your character use their special move which can be used freely granted you keep your energy meter up. The shoulder key serves as block and lock on. Unfortunately, locking on is really finicky as it's random as to what enemy it will choose to target.
While fighting with teammates, if you're lucky enough to be hitting an opponent at the same time, sometimes you can trigger a sequence where you can attack in unison. This, among other factors, increase your energy meter, allowing you to do super skill like giant energy blasts. To do this, you will fill up the meter fully and activate it with the attack and Ki Blast in unison. Using the D-pad, you can change your party's focus from onslaught to conservative. Now, if you're KO'd in battle, you simply wait for a respawn or until a friend of yours brings you back. Sadly, doing this too many times will result in a mission failure.
With all of these factors, it must come as a shock when we have to admit that for the most part, this game is really boring and just all around really repetitive. Its oversimplicity unfortunately makes the game a chore and kind of a snooze fest. It's very rare to find yourself in a position where you actually have to try, as the game isn't very difficult.
While yes, you can play online with friends and play competitively in certain minigames and versus mode, it's very monotonous and less stellar. We feel this game is marketed toward the younger generation, who will likely find more fun with Battle of Z more than most veterans will. There are some small amounts of fun to be had, like using Trunks' sword to slash away at enemies, and using giant Kamehameha blasts across the screen. But it's far and few in between, and to be honest, we really just can't recommend this game, at least at this time.
If you were to purchase Battle of Z, we wouldn't want to go over the $20 limit. Dragon Ball Z has had some good games and bad games based on the idea of trying different things, but it doesn't always work out. Battle of Z sadly joins that bandwagon as an experiment that just doesn't pay off.
Now, as far as the visuals and audios go, well, we're not at all surprised that yes, these things are very, very positive. Anime kind of games really do present their characters and backgrounds with some visually stunning artworks and looks. It's fairly common among most of them, so we had no doubt that this game was going to look gorgeous. The music, like most games, served to fit the atmosphere of the story it's telling, but doesn't really stand out beyond that. The only notable song that the game has, of course, is the main one. Unfortunately, nothing beyond that.
No matter what your opinion is on Battle of Z, it doesn't change the fact that Dragon Ball Z will always be there. Today, it's just as awesome as it's always been.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another video game review from the Brotherhoodofgaming.com. I am your host, William Morris.
I'm your Jay Morris.
And please, by all means, throw us a thumbs up, as well as following us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. And you know what? Just to top it all off, hit this big right subscribe button. And until next time, gamers, we'll see you again.